Since we view inventory as waste, then transportation can be viewed as a way of accumulating inventory on the move, which is, of course, something we want to eliminate also. If we can tie all production processes with an invisible conveyor, producing one piece at a time and transporting one piece at a time, we would have the ideal flow production system. Here, transportation is represented by valves connecting separate pools of inventory in the manufacturing process. If pressure builds up for too long before the valve is opened, the discharge of inventory is similar to a discharge of water from a dam. From this analogy, it should be obvious that transferring materials in large batch sizes creates a glut of material flowing in a disorderly fashion. Because of this, new roles for transportation function may be developed in order to pursue the following objectives. More frequent deliveries. More frequent feedback of information between the processes. For example, quality problems, work priorities, and the like. No storage between the processes. And reduced transportation costs. Even though some of these objectives may seem conflicting, we can still address them by using creative thinking. For example, transferring Kanban cards may convey accurate production information to the upstream process. Mixed loading of trucks and multi-plant scheduling may allow frequent small lot deliveries. Returnable containers may reduce material handling costs. Furthermore, we may be able to develop a one-touch handling method and deliver the material to point of use. Let's compare some conventional and innovative approaches to transportation with this illustration. First, the conventional approach. This represents large lot infrequent transportation. The results are slow feedback of information, accumulation of inventory, and additional problem impacting quality and increased expediting work. Next, this shows a mixed loading arrangement. Parts are delivered more frequently, inventory levels are lower, and the entire situation is much more streamlined.
The transportation route is similar to a bread truck route in that the truck begins empty from our plant here and runs a fixed loop at a fixed time, stopping at numerous vendors and returning to plant full. The loops obviously vary in length of time, but the truck is on loop, the frequency of pickups, and also the number of trucks that are on the route at any one time. The result was a saving of 1/3 to 1/4 of the previous transportation cost.
In incorporated Kanban theory here at Apple, we've eliminated a lot of our inventory. We've downsized our inventory considerably. Also, we have now utilized a truck instead of a rack, which is warehousing material in-house. We now warehouse it in a trailer on the lot, and it's utilized as we need. We generally have 2 trailers full material of each product sitting on the lot at any one time. One will be backed up to a door, the other sitting there in case this one gets emptied. Upon emptying this material of one at the door, we then return it back to the vendor, pull up the other trailer, the vendor in turn fills up and sends it back, which means we always have a continuous loop of 2 trailers on the lot at all times. This has really helped in a positive manner. It eliminated a lot of our inventory in the racks and warehouse. It's given us more space, more flexibility, and has really helped in a lot of the teamwork. It's a lot easier to deal with it out of a trailer than it is to pull it out of racks.
What we're doing here at Apple Fremont is trying to utilize our packaging as much as possible so that we can bring the cost of the unit down per part. And we've recently brought the plant up on a reusable packaging program. And what I'd like to do is show you how we utilize the packaging in such a manner that we have no waste and we recycle packaging through each of our vendors. What we have here is a Mac 2 bottom. And what you see here is a piece of sheet metal in a piece of plastic. The packaging starts with the sheet metal supplier, and the sheet metal supplier stamps out this piece of sheet metal here. They will put this sheet metal in this box with partitions. You'll see that 4 top are in this box. The sheet metal supplier puts 4 of the sheet metal parts in the box, ships it to our plastic supplier, molds this injection molded plastic. They heat stage the sheet metal into plastic, do prep work such as add printing, logo, and put it back in the same box with the same partitions, ship it to Apple. Comes here to Apple Fremont, remove parts on the line, send the packaging back to E-Trash, people in E-Trash knock it down, send it back to the sheet metal supplier here. Thus, the packaging hits 3 different suppliers. What you see here is a design that makes easy utilization for each supplier that hits. We have an HSC style carton with no top flaps. Thus, a person that's working with the carton has no top flaps to get in the way of the utilization. You'll also notice it has handholds for easy access to lift and carry. What we do, this is a quarter pallet size. We bring 4 boxes in per layer, and there's a layer lid that goes over each layer. One person remove that layer, and we have 4 totes exposed. This packaging actually goes right to the line, and there's no trash whatsoever. The parts are exposed, and nobody double handles parts.
At Toyota Alabama of California, parts are delivered to the line, and the operator informs the trucker by electric signal. This signal turns on board light on and informs the trucker what parts need to be delivered and where.
So this is basically an extension of flow production, a way to ensure that there will be very little inventory accumulated in the pipeline.
Yes, the key here, just like anywhere else, is to look at the overall picture rather than simply focusing one's own efficiency.
Multiple delivery is an example, isn't it?
Yes, it may cost more to do multiple deliveries if we look only at transportation cost. But if we look at the total cost, including reduction of inventory, space, material handling, and so on, it may make a lot of sense.
But to make this happen, we need to work together closely, right?
Yes, a good transportation network requires close communication too. So the closer the location, the better the linkage. Just as we talked about small and mixed production reducing the lead time, small and mixed transportation are also necessary to streamline the factory operations.
Just as we have looked at streamlining the flow of production by tying different processes together, rather than focusing on individual efforts, a manufacturer's relationships with suppliers should be viewed with the total manufacturing system in mind, rather than by concentrating on individual companies' practice. This is especially true when we recognize that competition is not simply a matter of one company trying to dominate over the others in an industry. Rather, it is often a matter of one group of companies functioning as an integrated system, competing with another group of companies. To be competitive in today's fierce business environment, we need to develop more proactive relationships to complement the resources of manufacturers and suppliers. These then should impact all areas of quality, cost, and delivery. In the area of quality, the concept of quality at source must be practiced. In the area of cost, cross-visitation and joint study teams may be considered for sharing productivity improvement techniques. In the area of delivery, closer supplier location and mixed loading arrangements should be carefully examined.
About 3 years ago, we started a team of purchasing buyers, quality engineers, and metallurgical engineers. Developed a team to survey each vendor in statistical process control. We began with the training phase. A lot of our suppliers were new at it and did not have the proper training in SPC. So we offered through the management of this company to train our supplier people, and we've trained hundreds over the years in statistical process control. After this phase, we went into the survey phase of visiting our suppliers, going through their plants, checking the quality and all of their phases of SPC to discover where they were at that particular point. And as time went on and other visits were made, certifications of certain vendors were made and a plaque was awarded. This has resulted in an average reduction on percent of shipments received to rejected being 6% about 3 years ago. Now the average is approximately 3.5%. And I'll give you an example of what one supplier told me. He said, at first, I was a little upset because everybody was telling me that quality was free, that wasn't going to cost me any more money. And in fact, it was costing me more money. Then he said, I'm sure glad that you forced me into this because it's made me a better company. I've actually obtained more business, and today I am much less scrap and cost in my company, and I really believe that quality is free. It isn't at first. Eventually, it turns out to be much better. And he thanked me for forcing him into something he should have done in the first place.
This cooperation with suppliers should be carried out at the shop floor level, too.
What you see here are frames that are delivered to us from a vendor. It used to be we had about 5 different suppliers building parts for us. Now what we've done is reduced our supply base to just one supplier, and the supplier is local within a 15-minute drive from our location. This allows us to work very closely with that supplier, and what we've done is set up really a jet replenishment system for our factory. Every day at the end of the day, we call and tell him how many frames we need for the next day, and that allows us to reduce our inventory that we're holding here. It also helps us with any quality problems. We check on very small lots the quality of the supplier when it comes in. It also used to be that this area was about 5 times as big as it is today, and in fact we were forced to have a warehouse for our frames because they were so big we couldn't fit them on the production floor. But now what you see here is all that we have stored as far as frames, and they're delivered on a daily basis. In addition, we're able to work with our vendors to really work on design problems so that we can improve our design and help it fit into their process better.
Thus, the traditional arm's length relationship based primarily on price is changing. Manufacturers should view their suppliers as an extension of their own factory. Development of a fewer number yet more reliable supply base becomes a natural consequence of these efforts.
One of the things we've done is cut our supply base from about 1,200 down to 100 active suppliers. In addition to that, we've begun to get proactive with our suppliers in terms of quality and quality involvement on their shop floor. We created an organization called Vendor Quality Engineering, which actually works with our suppliers on their shop floor in making sure that they employ the statistical process controls that we require for them to have in place before they send us product. We've done away with our own internal inspection departments. What we'll do right now is audit material on a periodic or spot basis. We do not have full-blown incoming material inspection departments to look for supplier quality mistakes. So basically what we've done in that area is pushed the onus of quality back to source or back to the original supplier. In Cork Island, for instance, we will not count corrugated boxes coming into the facility. The supplier will make deliveries 4 or 5 times a day, and that supplier will pay on the basis of how many units we pack out. There's no invoice involved, no receiving slips involved, just common sense type things.
At Toyota, we see an example of how both supplier and manufacturer can prosper from an extended factory relationship.
The net result of the improvements made in our building and the improvements that have also been passed on to us from our suppliers has allowed us to prevent any increases from being passed on to our ultimate consumer. We have been able to maintain the cost delivery price of our product for the last 5 years, even though material cost increases have occurred.
What I hear seems to make so much sense, but it sounds like a shakeout in the supplier communities for the manufacturer's survival. If a supplier does not cooperate with manufacturers, such a supplier seems to have very slim chance for the future, doesn't it?
Perhaps if one group of companies is competing with another group of companies, and if one group cooperates better in the manufacturing, design, logistics, and so on, I think we can figure out which side will win rather easily.
Isn't this, though, a violation of antitrust laws?
I don't know the details of these laws, so I'm not in the position to comment on that. But if one makes economic sense out of cooperating and the other one doesn't, I tend to think we should do something about it.
Is it true that Japanese companies tend to cooperate more than American companies?
Yes, I think you could say that. In Japan, customers are typically viewed as king, and this idea applies to the supplier-manufacturer situation as well. That means suppliers tend to do their best to satisfy the customer or manufacturer in this case. Just like in a management-employee relationship, the manufacturer and supplier seek a longer-term relationship. So usually, they try to do the best for each other's mutual benefit, rather than focus on short-term benefits.
Because in the long run, both will benefit.
Right. A certain amount of trust means a lot, rather than the detailed language of a contract. In fact, many manufacturers in Japan have helped their suppliers learn techniques for improvement.
So you think the trend in the U.S. will be toward a closer relationship with suppliers than in the past?
Yes, actually that's what's happening. Whether we like it or not, more competition means we have to do things differently if it makes economic sense.
So we are forced to behave in certain ways?
Yes, but we can take this kind of situation positively. I personally tend to see this as providing opportunities for those who respond proactively to the change.
I see.
The implication of this to the American manufacturer in order to compete, say, with far eastern or Japanese manufacturer is they have to begin to do things differently than they've done in the past. Adversarial relationships between customers and suppliers will no longer get it. Not sharing information, not being open with the supplier will no longer be a benefit in the future. In other words, it won't force you a competitive advantage to conduct business in that manner.
We have been studying the techniques for continuous improvement, and it's become obvious that these techniques are all interrelated to making our factory competitive. But it also should have become obvious the most important ingredient behind any of these techniques is people. Everybody must be a significant contributor to progress. Techniques or systems may make it possible, but only people can make it happen.
Because without people, you can't accomplish anything. And we've been doing a lot in way of training people, involving people, developing teams, educating people, increasing knowledge levels. And it's not just people that report to us, it's ourselves.
Rather than having an overburdened management staff, what we want is a situation where people are in many ways self-controlled. Management skills and problem-solving skills should not be monopolized by a selected group of people. For this to develop, we want to introduce techniques which everybody can understand and practice, and to provide an environment where common sense can play a key role. Top management should then focus on eliminating barriers within the organization and encourage everyone to serve both their internal and external customers. By applying user-friendly techniques, we can eliminate barriers which block communication, coordination, and cooperation. As we have seen, inventory on the shop floor, as well as paper inventory in the office, may be a target ripe for elimination. Certainly, the change may be painful, especially for those who cling to the past. Some may be concerned about losing control and creating chaos in the process of delegating responsibility. Yet, only by expanding everyone's skills and developing the flexibility to change can we move forward.
So the results are really very significant. We've had a lot of progress, but not really good enough. We're continuing. It's not time to sit back and say we haven't made, nor is it time for American industry to sit back and say we can't compete. Can compete. It's an ongoing need to compete, and capabilities are there. With good manufacturing processes continually improved, with good supplier processes continually improved, there's absolutely no reason why this country can't be a leading manufacturing competitor in the world.
In order to encourage the necessary changes, managers and supervisors must provide guidance, along with the means to educate and train their employees.
Acerca del sistema este de quien ven, y la tarjeta te señala toda la información que necesitas tú saber. These ideas help us to improve all sorts of problems that we have. You know.
At Borg Warner Automotive, for example, each unit of the organization is developing its own mission statements. People study who the customers and vendors are, then develop a plan of action for accomplishing their departmental goals.
We're trying to create a consistency of purpose that's going to acknowledge to everyone that this is what we're about, and this is how we're going to go about it, and that would be in the business plan. Okay, so for the mission statement, we're just trying to create a consistency of purpose and understanding and awareness of everybody having a chance to get involved and find out, include in our mission statement what they think we should be doing.
The role of frontline supervisor is especially important since they are closest to where the action is, as well as where most of the improvements are made. In many ways, they should be considered the president of their work area, as they have the most detailed knowledge of what actually goes on there.
We developed cells. We had our entire crew together, and we sit around a table and just sit down and talk for an hour or 2 hours and talk about the cells and what they should look like. We ask how the product's built, what we can do in order to make it easier to build it, and we just write down every idea, bad, good, indifferent. We don't judge an idea, we just talk about it, and it's something that our entire force gets involved in, and we end up with a real good product when we're through.
Because of the importance of their role, there are 7 basic points for supervisors to keep in mind. Also, operators, support staff, and managers need to understand these points so that they can contribute their share. 1. Control the basics of QCDSM, that is, quality, cost, delivery, safety, and morale in your workplace. Always bear in mind that meeting production goals is not the only thing that supervisors should be concerned about. 2. Always observe the workplace objectively, identify problems as much as possible, and strive to make improvements. If something's not quite right, don't give up easily. Search for a solution by asking why several times. Concentrate and observe problems for 10 minutes or even an hour. Always talk to the operators and ask their help. 3. Develop your skills for understanding subordinates and do all you can to guide, coach, educate, and train them to enhance their capabilities. Let's not only acquire problem-solving skills, but develop interpersonal skills as well. 4. Always think from the broadest viewpoint possible. Search for the true cause of problems and take the time to use your best judgment. Remember, you are the president of your areas of responsibility. Think in terms of what are the things that you can do to run your business and satisfy your customers. 5. Develop good human relations and try to develop a workplace where everybody can work in harmony. Taking pride in your work and promoting teamwork are the foundations of producing the highest quality products. 6. Be capable of showing others how to perform all job functions in your area. And remember that people learn primarily by example, so be ready to set a good one. First, describe the major steps. Second, show the key points to remember. And third, explain the reasoning why things are done a specific way. Instructions should be clear, concise, and yet not so detailed that the learner has difficulty mastering the task. Remember to do this patiently until the learner can do the job on his or her own. And lastly, 7. Develop the mental flexibility to address necessary changes, plus learn and experiment with new concepts and techniques for improvement. Moving forward always has change associated with it. Like it or not, That's the only way we can progress. And more often than not, there is a great deal of satisfaction associated with coming up with new ideas. While the role of supervision is important for accomplishing all of these points, people in the work area should be free to help improve the situation as well. They should be encouraged to voice their concerns with supervisors and managers and try to learn more skills. After all, improving one's skills is the surest way to secure one's job, as well as improve the company's competitive position in the industry. When we practice this, managers and supervisors are often surprised to find that their people can play a much more substantial role. The process takes time and patience, however, and success will depend on a level of commitment by both management and the people within the organization. Here are some examples of how companies are getting people to be more involved and take more initiative.
Using the plan, do, check, action cycle, and going through that step, we were able to develop business planning. First of all, doing the check part, we looked at the history and seen what we were not accomplishing in achieving self-imposed goals. We looked at a mission statement and developed those mission elements that we felt were important to our operation. Of course, we had to look at customers. We looked both external customers as well as internal customers. And we developed customer relationships so that we could determine how those fit together with our mission statement. This allowed us as a manufacturing organization to take it down into each of the functions in manufacturing so that each member could do business planning for his group. They were able to do mission statements and customer relationships in their organization. This allowed us to have the vision and to take our organization and pass on that vision to each of the members in our organization. This, of course, resulted in different people progressing at different rates. Many times through the process, personally, I questioned whether we were making the progress that I wanted to achieve. At various times, I would remember the statement concerning the stone cutter, and I realized that it was not any single item that made the accomplishment, but it was the continuous process of working and seeing that we were making progress that was continuous progress. More, in many cases, looking like a sawtooth, sometimes making great achievements of increase, but other times slight decreases, but continuous in an upward fashion. I've seen many of our members helping each other in that progress, where one person had a stumbling block, another person could show how he made progress by achieving a progress in his area and overcoming those stumbling blocks. Of course, what we want to be able to do is to take this progress in the future in our organization. And looking into the future, we see moving